My own thoughts, how ChatGPT can make your life easier. That's what we're talking about today. Hi, this is Frank Buck, and this is the place to be if you want to get organized and make it look easy. Last week, I brought you a piece about ChatGPT written entirely by ChatGPT. So if you missed that one, come over to frankbuck.org, click on the blog link, and go and read, watch, or listen to what you see there. You know, before November of 2022, nobody had ever heard of Chat GPT. Now you see articles everywhere you look. How do you feel about its capabilities? How will you use it? And will you use it at all? Are you worried that you'll be replaced by artificial intelligence? Well, that's not likely, at least not for the foreseeable future. But the real danger is that you will be replaced by someone who knows how to use modern technology such as artificial intelligence. So keep reading, watching, and listening. So, what did you think about the quality of the writing from last week's piece? Well, my experience with ChatGPT is that it composes mediocre prose very quickly. So if being mediocre is the goal, then letting artificial intelligence do it for you is really a pretty good answer. That was my feeling about the ChatGPT article that was composed for me by ChatGPT. One thing that I noticed was that the answer did not even tell people where they could go to create an account. And that's a pretty large omission. So you can go and create a free account at chat.openai.com. So that's chat.openai.com and have fun. So how can you use ChatGPT? Well, first, it helps you not start with a blank page. The article that ChatGPT wrote for me was less than inspiring, but it did get me past a hurdle that writers of all ages experience, the blank page. For a writer, the blank page is the enemy. You know that the hardest part about writing is simply getting started. Once you get started, you get in a roll. The words just kind of seem to come. And that's why writers are told to just go ahead and slog through that terrible first draft. From there, you can go back and edit. Well, ChatGPT gets us past the blank page in a hurry. That mediocre draft will likely produce some relevant points that we had not even considered. So, as long as we use artificial intelligence to inspire thought rather than do the creative work and be the end product, then we have something that can reduce the drudgery and let us spend more time on higher level thought and refining things and spinning the straw into gold. It kind of gives us the straw and we can go from there. So, what are some good use cases? All right, think about the last time that you were composing a response to an email where somebody had been fairly ugly to you, and you're writing that response. You're kind of mad. You reread it. The tone is harsh. You want to soften it up, but the words just aren't coming. All right. Well, try taking your draft of that email, copy and paste it into Chat GPT with the instructions. Rewrite in the language of nonviolent communication. And if you feel that the writing sounds a little too complicated, if that response is a little much, then paste the prose into Chat GPT again with the instructions. Explain it to me like I'm a fifth grader, and Chat GPT will adjust the reading level. So if you need to write anything from a thank you note to a letter of resignation, just describe the circumstances to Chat GPT and watch the results. Modify what you get to fit your needs. But again, you're not starting with a blank page. All right, what about Excel? Are you often trying to find the right Excel formula? Well, explain the scenario to Chat GPT and watch it supply the formula that you need in seconds. Are you experiencing an error with a formula in Excel? Or is there some error in some software code that you have? Well, paste it into ChatGPT and you'll be amazed. This is an area where artificial intelligence really excels already. Okay, here's another use case. Planning a trip. So you're planning an outing somewhere. I went into ChatGPT and I entered plan a 1-day tour of Birmingham, Alabama. So if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to the podcast, go over to frankbutt.org, click on the blog, and go to the companion blog post for this, and you're going to see exactly the itinerary that it laid out. I'm pretty familiar with Birmingham, and what it laid out for me was really pretty nice. It started with at 9 o'clock, that we're going to tour the Botanical Gardens. At 11 o'clock, the Civil Rights Museum. At 1 o'clock, it gives a good barbecue place for lunch. And then at 2:30, Sloth's Furnace. At 4 o'clock, a short drive to Vulcan Park and the museum. 6 o'clock, it recommends a good place for dinner. And these are pretty well on the money, and it even gives you an estimated time for when you want to be doing these things. So please come over to the companion blog post and read what ChatGPT put together. Hey, how about writing a poem? For fun, do you write quick poems or song lyrics? Well, I put into ChatGPT, write a poem in the style of Robert Frost for the middle school band class. Come over to the blog post and you can read what ChatGPT put together. It's really quite cute. So, if you're just trying to put together a quick poem, it's not going to be published for anything, but just for your own entertainment, just something to entertain family and friends, and you're trying to find words that rhyme and so forth, throw the idea into ChatGPT and let it do it for you, or at least give you a good idea that you can use as a springboard. All right, next, composing sample data. Our days include a lot of really mundane tasks. So suppose that you need to put together a sample set of data. So instead of slogging through thinking up fake names and typing in numbers, you can just go to ChatGPT and say something like, compose sample grades for a class of 20 students who have 15 grades each. Again, come over to the post. I did that and I have pasted there exactly what it showed me. Now, this request, it produced some interesting results, and it shows how you can converse with ChatGPT to refine your request. So my first request produced scores in rows, and each score was separated by just commas. But what I was really looking for was a grid that looked like a teacher grade book. So as I see it's generating all these numbers, I click the stop generating button and I entered in the command window, put it in chart form. Well, ChatGPT added that information to what it had asked it before, and it produced the result again that you're going to see on the blog post. So it looked at what it had done before. It realized that I was referring to that data set, and it updated it to try and match what I was asking for. Well, but when I looked at that, and what I really wanted was for it to also have student names as well as the grade. So again, I clicked the stop generating and I entered, give the students fake names. And I was a little disappointed at the next result because it only listed the names and no grades. I thought surely it would give me the grades as well. So I said, but include those names in the chart. Well, then ChatGPT gave me exactly what I had originally wanted. And again, you're going to see that in the blog post. Now, even with this back and forth clarification, I still spent far less time having ChatGPT create the fake data than if I had composed it myself. So, how could a business person use ChatGPT? Well, to answer that question, I just type that in ChatGPT. And again, you'll see the answer in the blog post. And one final example. If you'll go back a couple of weeks to where I composed a post about May Madness, I had put together that piece as an audio for some other site some years ago. In fact, before podcasts were everywhere. And so I wanted to bring that content back as a blog post, but I couldn't find the text anywhere. All I had was the audio to go from. Now, I don't want to sit down and type that whole thing out. So here's what I did. I fired up Otter on my phone and I hit play on the audio and record on Otter. Well, of course, Otter is listening to this and it's transcribing it. So instead of me having to type it out, it's doing that for me. And its transcription of words is great, but it runs everything together into one giant paragraph if the speaker is not changing. And some of the punctuations aren't quite right. So instead of going through myself and doing all that cleanup, I copied the result and pasted it into ChatGPT with the instructions to divide the writing into paragraphs and improve the quality of the writing. Well, I pasted the results into Evernote to work on from there. It did just a beautiful job. And then it was just a little bit of cleanup work there in Evernote. Saved me a ton of time. Now, let me advise you this: trust but verify, as President Reagan used to say. One caution is that ChatGPT has been known to give incorrect or incomplete answers, and you don't get any citations, so you don't know exactly where this information came from. So while ChatGPT is great for giving us ideas, it's still our responsibility to do our own fact checking. Now, this article gives you just a few ideas, and as you read other articles, jot down the use cases that make sense to you and use this as a tool that's going to help you do your work better. We would never expect a hammer to build a house for us, but that hammer is a valuable tool for the person who has a vision for how they want to build a house and just needs some help pounding a nail. Well, if you have a vision for your life and you find yourself getting caught up in the small details, well, ChatGPT may just be one of those items for your tool chest. If you enjoyed this piece, please come over to frankbuck.org, click on the blog, and enjoy reading, listening, and watching to the content that is there. I think you're going to find a lot of things that you really like. If you're not already on my email list, take the opportunity to sign up there. This has been Frank Buck helping you get organized and make it look easy.